What is up guys, it's your boy Solam here, back with another classic WoW video. This one will be more related to a future Season of Mastery, so Season 2 pretty much, which Blizzard has confirmed will pretty much be coming out either later this year, or we're getting more information later this year. Now, as someone who played Season of Mastery 1, I wanted to make a video today talking about what went wrong in Season 1 and talking about things that they could take into consideration for Season 2 as well, to hopefully make Season 2 a little bit better than Season 1 was. So that is what we're doing today. Let me know in the comments down below if you are going to be playing Season of Mastery 2. It's not going to be called Season of Mastery 2, but by referring to it as Season of Mastery 2, everyone knows what we are referring to. It's basically the second seasonal server for Classic WoW, which we're getting more information on later this year, as they said, which I'm guessing is going to be around BlizzCon or something. So more information is coming later down the line. Personally, I feel like Blizzard might kind of have missed a spot here, because right before they announced the hardcore servers, a big community was gathering for people who wanted to re-experience Classic WoW, not just hardcore, but regular Classic WoW as well. So I feel like Season 2 should have been coming out either before hardcore servers or roughly at the same time. I feel like now is the time to give us something fresh. By waiting until the end of the year to give us more information, maybe the actual Season 2 comes out in January or February or something, I feel like that's kind of too late. But yeah, once again, let me know in the comments down below what you think. Now for today's video, we're taking a look at a Reddit post, which you can take a look at right over here. Okay, so once again for today's video we're looking at a Reddit post which we have right here called "Did Season of Mastery drop off because it was a fresh survey or because Season of Mastery sucked ass?" That is a bit of an interesting title. I personally have some opinions here, but let's look at what the post actually says first and then look at some of the replies to see what other people are thinking as well. Looking into it, and everyone says Season of Mastery servers died off quickly, but I'm not sure if that's just a trend with fresh servers, or if it was because Season of Mastery itself sucked, increased raid difficulty that made the game unfun while removing world buffs at the same time. So let's see what other people think. If you played Season of Mastery, let me know what you think down below. Were you happy with the world buff change? Personally, I actually liked not raiding with world buffs, but that might just be me personally. I played the Season of Mastery, it started off extremely hype and full of players, but Molten Core / Onyxia was just too difficult for too many people. I will agree with that one. It was very difficult for some people, especially the bombs for example, on Baron Geddon as well. Most of the raids were completely unpuggable, and by the time they added extra loot for the bosses, it was far too late for anyone to care. They made PvP gear easier to get and Molten Core harder with the same shitty loot, so after people hit their rank, they would just quit. And the PvP system, or the PvP set, was available at launch, which made people grind Ultrak Valley rather than farm for consumables and actually turn up for the raids. So here's the thing, they basically made raids more difficult, didn't give you any better loot, not even more loot either, so they made the raids more difficult to do, and didn't increase the amount of rewards you got for quite some time. They did eventually go back on that to increase the rewards slightly. I think they added like 1 or 2 items per boss, but if you ask me, they should have increased the rewards way more. Based on this being a seasonal server, people like getting their best in slots. It's like farming for gear is fun, but when you have a seasonal server with a 1-year lifespan, you need to make sure that people can get the best items that they are getting, especially when raids are also made more difficult. I feel like getting your BIS is even more important than ever before. When you have to take into consideration, raids are in fact more difficult. People like getting their BIS items, just increase how many items per boss drops. Even double it. Double the amount of loot you get per boss, or make the lockouts faster, or do something about that. Doing more work for the same reward as we got back in Classic WoW, it just feels bad. It's like your boss tells you to go to work for twice as much, or twice as many hours, and you still get paid the same. Not on an hourly basis, but you still get paid the exact same, doing more work for the same reward, which just feels weird even in like video games as well. So by increasing the difficulty of the raid and not giving us better or more loot, it just felt very weird to do those raids. It was way too much challenge and not enough rewarding. Now also, PvP set, rank 14 set, was in from the launch. If you know how OP they are really strong. Rank 14 gear is in many cases better than Molten Core gear, for a long time at least, and it's good for a long time in the game's life cycle as well. So what a lot of people did in Season of Mastery, they would skip the gearing up process, like they would level to level 60, start farming Alterac Valley. There was no farming dungeons for pre-bis, no farming consumables, no farming anything. Just do rank 14 grinding, get rank 14, skip Molten Core, start raiding in Blackwing Lair. That was the entire cycle for a bunch of people. Just spend the first 2 months grinding Alterac Valley 24/7, get rank 14, get that gear, skip Molten Core, don't really need Molten Core anyway, and start raiding in Blackwing Lair. That's not really optimal or fun gameplay for pretty much anyone. Even the people that did the rank 14 grind, a lot of the people that I had contact with, that I played Season of Mastery with, said they didn't do it because it's fun. They did it because it was the optimal way to get the gear fast, and it was the best way to gear up. It was the best way and the path of least resistance. So people will, as often as possible, choose the path of least resistance. So I feel like having that rank 14 gear available at the start was a massive mistake. So for Season 2, please don't do that. The thing is that it just makes every single thing about the end game so much more unfun. A lot of people enjoy farming, both for reputations, for example. You can farm reputations to get good loot, for example, trinkets. You can get some pretty good class sets from Dire Maul, and farming those dungeons to get pre-raid best in slots is a vital part of the early level 60 gameplay. By having the rank 14 grind available from the very start, it takes away the early level 60 endgame, which I personally think is really great. Farming Stratholm, doing those dungeons, doing BRD, farming rares, Jed, Rend, you know, farming all those things for pre-raid bis. In many cases, that pre-raid bis is even good until Blackwing Lair as well, right? So many of those items are pretty good, but by having rank 14, you take away the necessity to grind those items. So that was a long rant about rank 14, but please, for Season 2, don't have rank 14 available from the start. Just do like you did in Classic WoW, make PvP systems come available with Phase 2, or like a couple months down the line. You also see here, I got to level 60 and did Molten Core in a pug, and we wiped a lot because of the new mechanics. Then I went back to TBC. So here we can see this one is pretty important. A lot of the actual raid mechanics were not too difficult to deal with if you had a raid team. So like a guild that raid together, having a raid leader, doing callouts, being in a Discord call, it was kind of okay to deal with, but many of the actual changes to the raids, especially even in Molten Core, could be very, very destructive to pugs. A lot of pugs did wipe, because the raids were more challenging. Even in Classic WoW, raids would wipe, so wiping now, like, more difficult stuff, things hit for more, bosses have more health. It's just overall, the raids were a lot more difficult, and it definitely killed a lot of pugs, which, it's okay, because it was supposed to be a season of harder content, but at least make the harder content actually worth doing. Number one, going back to the rank 14 grind, you could just play Alterac Valley and get to rank 14, and get that rank 14 weapon and those armor sets, right? You didn't have the same incentive to do Molten Core, and still Molten Core was more difficult and less rewarding and less incentive to do it. You also have the fact that Season 1 came out very close to when Classic WoW was finished. It came out in TBC. A lot of people that played Classic WoW also wanted to play TBC, because a lot of the people that think Vanilla WoW is good also think TBC is good. TBC is a fantastic expansion. I personally really do enjoy TBC. So people were still having fun in TBC. The timing for Season 1 for Season of Mastery was not right, but right now the timing is right. I feel like Blizzard did two big mistakes here. They launched Season of Mastery 1 where the timing was not right, and even now Season of Mastery 2, the timing would have been right when people wanted it, 5 or 6 weeks ago, or even 2 months ago, but even then, they decided not to give it to us and make us wait pretty much a whole other year before getting Season 2. I fear that they are doing the same mistake again, giving us the brand new season at the wrong time, and giving it to us at the wrong time will destroy the entire season. I think that's pretty much everything that is worth going through here. You have the same experiences once again. PvP out from the beginning was fun. You actually say it was fun, really. Could have capped the rewards to rank 11, that one would have been good. Having PvP available from the beginning, then cap the rewards to rank 11, I feel like that would have been really helpful, because the problem isn't doing PvP, the problem is that getting rank 14 is both faster, more efficient, and it's just a path of least resistance to gearing up. Plus it gives you guaranteed rewards, rather than doing Molten Core with a upscale difficulty and getting the same loot as previously. So if we have PvP available but capping the rewards to rank 11, I feel like that would have been great. But that is just like, I wanted to take a look at this post for today and talk about Season 2, because I'm going to be playing Season 2, and I want Season 2 to be as good as it possibly can be, so let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Pretty much a mix of a rant video plus my wishes and just taking a look at that Reddit comment, because I saw that comment, it sparked something that I wanted to talk about, so here we are. Once again, leave your comments in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more Classic WoW updates. We're doing both the Season of Mastery, Classic WoW and Hardcore updates. I think Hardcore PTR is coming out soon, by the way. I've pretty much said that for 6 weeks. Either way, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you again very soon.